Hello, my name is Morgan Cannell and I'm with Feed Your Genes. I'm here today with
Dr. Penny Kendall-Reed from GeneRx.ca.
great to have you, Dr. Penny. And today we're going to get back on track with our short interviews. And today I really want to talk about detoxification. I think that maybe the language we have, or it's something scary for people, or it's too general for people. They don't quite understand how genetics are really the driving force behind how we can help someone detoxify. Whether it's, these kits that people can go out and buy, or how we do that. Can you talk about that?
Mhm. First, I think it's really important to note that, traditionally people would think of a detoxification as just eating clean food, so not putting those toxins into your body. And that's wonderful. That's a big help, but was not going to do anything for getting the toxins out of your body. And that's where our genetics come in. It'd be almost like saying, I want to wash my car, so I'm just going to hose it down with water, but I'm not going to use any soap. We're not going to get it clean unless we have the soap. So with detoxification, there's two phases. There's one called phase 1 and then phase 2. Phase 1 is where our liver produces these enzymes that can identify a toxin inside of the cell. But that toxin can't get outside of the cell in the shape that it's in. So we have to change the shape of it, which is what that enzyme does, and then it presents it to the outside of the cell so that phase 2 detoxification enzymes come in, see that change shape thing, and pull it out of the body. So there's phase 1 and phase 2, basically prep that toxin to get out of the body and then clear the toxin out of the body. The problem is that when we make a phase 1 substrate, we always make it usually into a more inflammatory precarcinogenic substrate. And that's okay if phase 1 and phase 2 balance. So make the substrate, bind to it, get it out, all good. The problem becomes if phase 1 is too overactive, we're making too many inflammatory substrates, and phase 2 is underactive, so now we're not clearing it out. We actually start to become more inflamed if we start pushing these detox pathways. The amount of inflammation that is generated in our bodies through an imbalanced detoxification system is huge. So eating our broccoli, doing all of those wonderful things, eating those healthy foods is great for the body, but that's not affecting those pathways really to help get those toxins out. So we need to know our genes. Are you too fast for phase 1 or are you too slow? Are you too fast for phase 2 or are you too slow?
Absolutely. And when I'm putting together someone's meal plan, or I'm talking to them about the relationship between nutrition and genetics, I need to look at those detoxification pathways so I can say, okay, we want those raw vegetables. They're going to be really helpful. Or, you're really slow at being able to clear things out. And in that case, we can help you with something as simple as peppermint tea. But if you're someone who has a really fast clearing, you don't want it to be sped up anymore by adding in those things. So I feel like it's one of those things people kind of underestimate because treatments on both sides are so different.
They're so different. And, that's why we can't just use those detoxification kits that kind of throw a bunch of different liver herbs into one protocol and say, here, this is for everybody, because they're stimulating phase 1 and phase 2, the majority of them, all the time. For somebody like myself who's way overactive for phase 1, that's just going to generate more inflammation in me.
Exactly. So I think that the other thing people question a lot is what is connected to our detoxification. So everyone goes, I want to do a healthy cleanse because it's the right thing to do, but I don't know if we really understand why. And so when people are coming and they have hormonal issues or they've got inflammation struggles, we're really looking at detoxification.
Absolutely. Now, we are looking at hormone genes as well. How much of it do you make? We are looking at our inflammatory genes. How much of those substrates do you make? But if your detoxification pathways aren't working, you're not going to clear out anything. And that means anything. So, for instance, somebody could be eating a perfect diet for their weight. It might be a perfect diet that is completely catered to all of their metabolic and dietary genes. But if their detoxification pathways aren't working, the fat cell, a lot of our toxins, they get stored inside of our fat cells. So if you try to ask that fat cell, give up this fat because I'm doing all the right things, but there's too much toxin inside, the fat cell actually won't give up the fat because the fat acts like a buffer to protect that cell against inflammation from that toxin. You get that toxin out, then the fat freely goes, given that you're eating and doing the right things. And that's how traditionally detoxifications, when they were done properly, led to weight loss. It's not that you're just fasting or eating no calories or drinking only juices. That's entirely the wrong thing we want to do. You want to get those toxins out of the body, and that's what helps our metabolism. A lot of our phase 2 detoxification genes, they're also the genes that clear out the excess estrogen, the excess testosterone. It's not just toxins that they clear out, so they also help to balance our hormones there as well. So we have to look at every part of the body together.
Absolutely. And when people are saying, I bought this kit and I did this master cleanse or whatever it might be, and often we see they're not feeling very good at all. And sometimes, that whatever they're trying to cleanse out is still stuck in there. So what are some ways that, if someone's got a really slowed down detoxification process based on their genetics, how can you support them there?
So if it's a slow phase 1 detoxification, so that prep of the toxin, we definitely want to avoid curcumin without a doubt. We want to stimulate it with the peppermint, just as you were talking about. And then we can also use things like DIM from broccoli, or using the broccoli, but raw cruciferous vegetables particularly will really stimulate phase 1 detoxification. Caffeine will really slow it down. So I don't want that person to have coffee. If you're fast, like myself, yay, I get 2 to 3 coffees a day, and that actually helps my body. But I have to cook all my cruciferous vegetables. If you're slow on the phase 2, we want to use some of those great nutrients that we have, like liposomal glutathione or NAC, which are going to increase all of our NRF2 and glutathione pathways, bind to those toxins and help get them out. And that way we can really decrease our inflammatory load. And you feel the lightness with it when you start to do that in your body.
Absolutely. And one of the other things that genetics is able to tell us is, can we give someone, let's say, amino NAC? Are they going to convert that into glutathione, or is this someone that is not converting and we need to get straight to the glutathione and support them that way?
You're exactly right. Absolutely. And sometimes people with glutathione, it's often going to be my go-to for people all the time. One of the big complaints I hear about it is the pills are so big. And they are, because in the liposomal form, it needs a larger and thicker capsule to protect it. But there are some wonderful liquid versions that are out there as well. Designs for Health has a really good tasting, actually, liposomal glutathione in a liquid pump. So there's ways around that, because that used to be one of the big barriers with giving people glutathione.
Absolutely. I've heard that one a million times. Well,
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dr. Penny, for talking to me about detoxification today, and we'll talk more next time.
Thanks for having me. Bye.
Bye.